I am approaching retirement. What kinds of things should I be looking for in preparation?
Okay, that's a great question actually, because here's my outlook on finances as a whole. It's essentially goal based. If you really look at it, right? We have a current lifestyle that we're trying to meet, and then when we're looking at kind of the future, it might be, trying to save for a car, save for a house, pay for college education if we have kids, all those things. But I'll tell you what, the big granddaddy of all the goals is retirement. It takes the most money and it probably is the most gratifying, honestly. Getting a house is great and everything, but having a fantastic retirement for the last 20 to 40 years or 50 years of your life is just, it's unbelievable. And for the most part, what I've seen within my clientele, people like retirement. Matter of fact, the most common comment is, hey, I should have retired a few years earlier. And so I think that's pretty good. So really what you want to, watch for and deal with in retirement. And now when I say retirement, it's still ongoing. You're 80 years old. You're still working on your retirement. You're 20 years old. You're looking forward to your working, and you're working on your retirement. We're all working on our retirement, honestly, at every point in our life. There isn't any one point in time. So, really, what you want to make sure is that you have, your bases covered, that you've got a solid financial plan in place no matter what age you are, to drive yourself and to guide yourself for where you're going. That should be reviewed every 6 months. You want to make sure that you have a really solid asset management program that matches your risk that you need to take to make your plan work and the risks that you're willing to take, and getting those to balance out. That's super, super important. And that you make sure that you still have savings in place even when you're in your retirement, but certainly prior to retirement, to be able to handle those different types of you know events that happen, just like what happened last year with the pandemic. We don't know what's coming next, and so being aware as far as that goes. I believe personally, and this is why we're pushing this so much. Look, I've done over 6,000 financial plans. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've gotten to watch so many paths, so many situations. I've seen good paths, I've seen bad paths. And I think that knowing what we're talking about here, becoming more knowledgeable about financial planning, tax planning, investment management, even if you've hired somebody else like me or somebody along those lines, still you're going to do better. And I've noticed that within my clients. So that's why I think, this type of resource, we're providing a free education. There's literally millions of dollars worth of content that we're putting out here. If you really paid attention and followed along, it could really make a difference. So I think that's the kind of the other part, is you just never stop learning about it. And find some interest. You don't have to get to my level, but picking up pieces here and there will help you tremendously.
So in the beginning of your question or your answer, you mentioned the importance of having a financial plan and reviewing it every 6 months. What age would you suggest for someone, let's say 18? What age would you suggest starting that financial plan?
I think in your 20s is a good place to start a financial plan. Even any point in time when you really kind of get that first, significant job, because I think it does make a difference. It gives you a guide path, to follow. That's not very common, but I do have that. We do have clients that have done that. Obviously, if you look statistically, most people save most of the money for their retirement between the ages of 55 and 65. And that's when they start to get serious. And a lot of people don't do a plan until they're really, really close to their retirement. But I think that's a mistake. I think it would help you substantially to be able to see the future, if you had that in place. So, yeah, I don't know that you can do that too young. It wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and the nice thing about a plan is that nothing's ever set in stone. So, say life changes, say you don't want to buy the house in California anymore, but you're moving to Michigan for a job, and your plan can be easily adjusted. And so having a flexible plan is always good.
Yeah, and that's changed. That's a new concept altogether, because if you think back to when we used to do plans, well, first of all, we used to do plans. I go farther back than you guys do, but on a yellow legal pad with an HP 12C calculator, right? So those weren't maybe the best examples of what you do. And then the next version of plans was this big software, and we had to gather all this data. It was really hard. We were lucky if we could do it every 2 years just because of the pure labor. But now plans are live, they're online, all of the assets are linked into the plan, and it's super simple. Literally in a few minutes, we can go through and update some of the goals, for the changes like you mentioned, Ethan, and we're able to run a Monte Carlo simulation and see what's happening. And that's changed the whole world in that regards. And it's a dream of mine. I mean, I've honestly thought about this for so long, being able to have live active plans for every client, and now we have it. It took a while for the technology to get there, but yeah, exactly, that flexibility of seeing, hey, this changed and that changed, and and how that impacts your life, or hey, asking what ifs. What if I want to go do this instead? What if I want to switch jobs? What if I want to take these big vacations? Or what if I want to remodel my house? Or so to me, that's a huge issue, right? Because now I've got, let's say, a 70-year-old that's in retirement and they're no longer earning money in a job, and they've got these big questions and they want to do something. They want to remodel a bathroom. It's going to cost $100,000, or I don't know, whatever it is. How does that work? So that's really where the flexibility of a plan comes in today. It's really, really powerful.